Science is making the same mistakes, but Uncle Sam's on Mars, and no one down here.
We're entering a phase of this world which is unforeseen in scaling human activity with with artificial intelligence to that scale, 1/100th. Imagine something that cost your business $4,000 now costs $40, and it would have taken 4 weeks, now takes 4 minutes. I don't even know how to tangibilize that, but it's going to come. This is what's coming in the next 18 to 24 months. Services are going to cost less, right? Dynamic strategic ones will cost more because there's going to be very few people who can outthink others, and the ones who can are going to be highly, highly valuable. And also people that can integrate technologies and do really well, and why the way it's just going to go well. But people who are doing menial things, like setting up an ad here, doing this over here, like little things in marketing, you're going to get cannibalized. Just be prepared to get cannibalized, right? And this is going to happen fast. And I'm excited by it because I like the pressure. Like I like adapting and overcoming. But hey, let us know your thoughts. If you're out there listening and you're intimidated by this, let us know what you're intimidated by. Let us know what you're excited by. But just know that this is going to push us to our bounds as white collar professionals. I feel like it's that a new episode of South Park where all the trades people are like super rich and get paid all this money, and then all the white collar professionals were in front of Home Depot with like, hire me, I'll be your lawyer, I'll be your tax accountant, things like this. I feel like it's moving there with technology. So the shift in the value of the marketplace is going to be dynamic as well. So maybe the best schooling for a lot of people will be in the trades, will be in these different forces. And we're kind of seeing that now with the shortage of trade, right? So when people are looking at careers, they're maybe like, hey, maybe there's something to being a carpenter or something to being a plumber in the future, because a lot of these white collar ones will be dominated by mid and high level consultants. And the barrier to entry will be $100,000 in subscription programs to these advanced programs. So no longer can a solo marketer just jump in and be part of the race. So I think the barrier to entry will be much higher. And that's what I'm trying to get at, especially with AI and sales management and companies, because unless you're equipped with the technology, you're not going to be able to compete.
Yeah, good point. I mean, folks that have that specialization are obviously going to rise to the top, and they'll be in a good spot. But anybody who doesn't, I mean, what we're going to see is like economies of scale sort of like get reduced, right? Because now everybody's going to have access to similar technology or AI that's going to help, and it puts the market in a position where prices are going to reflect that, and some of the bigger players are going to be dropping their price to really squeeze on their economies of scale of production and offering, and that's going to really do a number on revenue for a lot of folks in terms of just seeing the things shrink, and the value of whether it's a product or a service. So it should be interesting to see how that goes. And I think you're right on that vision of what's gonna take place. So I guess around that, I mean, trying to wrap my head around what that means for the average sales manager and the average person sitting in his chair and making calls, right? And I don't know, I really see it as a shift in the role of the manager, and the role of the salesperson. Like there's just such a new opportunity now for training, right? Because now the sales reps now need to know how to utilize all this data, right? And that's not AI that can do that. It's got probably going to have to be a human. So not saying again that people are getting wiped out from the management position, but it's going to be such a shift that I don't know if that's even going to be the right name to call it anymore, as sales manager. I don't know. Right. But at the end of the day, now there's going to be this need for training, for insights, for just, familiarity with the different types of data, tool sets that are going to come out so that people can make use of it in the right way. Until things integrate, holistically, which is never going to really happen because you have these competing players that always want to do something different, right? You got the Apple store, you got the Google store that never they're going to play well together because they don't want that, right? So there's always going to be a little bit of a disconnect somewhere. And how do we put the pieces together in the right way to make it as holistic as possible? And what training supports that? And what additional things need to happen from like a technology training standpoint too, not only just an interpretation standpoint. So yeah, there's a lot of things I think are going to change based on like your outlook, and I think I share that similar view. But see that this in a way, I'm trying to see it from a light of what's going to take place in that seat as a sales manager, and I think that's what's going to really change is that dynamic approach to facilitating different trainings, different insights, how to use these insights, and really be much more of a facilitator versus I would say data analyst.
Yeah, exactly. And like it brings up this. A lot of people have been able to get by on gig work and things in between for the past little while, and they could be kind of average, but not anymore. I'm just telling you, it's coming where there's the death toll already out there for gig work. Like you are gonna suffer, and the reason you're gonna suffer is someone who's faster and smarter is gonna automate your life. And so, with that being said, where is safety? Well, there's this old thing, sell or die. Remember that? Remember those when we were younger, Julio, growing up and learning sales, sell or die, always be closing. Coffee's for
Yeah, yeah,
closers. Let's go, right?
yeah.
Fourth place, you're fired, right? So Glenn Ross, if you guys want to watch the movie, it's really, really good. But the idea is I would encourage people to build their sales skills. You may not make it in marketing in the next little while, but there will be a bunch of sales roles that exist that will be pretty dynamic, and they'll need people who understand the technologies. And you may have a basic understanding of got along on get work, a few clients here, a few clients there, but now's your time to transition to a sales role and do well because you understand the techs, you can use them. As Julio said, you can use the data quickly. You know how to integrate, you know how to automate tasks, you understand workflow mechanisms, you understand sequencing. If you understand these, there could be a multi six-figure sales job sitting there waiting for you, right? And you're just going to have to make that adaptation. Is it going to give you less freedom because you're not working for yourself as much anymore? Yeah, that's probably going to happen because as we see in history, as innovations happen, it clusters into bunches. So if you've noticed, Canada, where we live, is the home of oligarchies. We love them. Like, let's give telecom example. We got Telus, Bell, and Rogers. That's it. And I think Rogers bought Bell, or no, Rogers bought Shaw. So we had four. Now we're down to three. And these things will happen the same thing in this world as well. There'll be a lot more conglomeration, a lot more bunching that will happen, and it will force out smaller providers. Now, the adaptability that a creator has. So if you're a good marketer and you're good at TikTok or you're good at, let's say, Facebook and Instagram, you're going to have some variability there, and you can do consumer products and you can have a following because influence is always going to be a thing. And I think a lot of tactical brands are going to move, especially with AI telling the sales manager, we should, and this is where the attachment from AI sales management goes to marketing. It's going to say, we want to put more heat onto these areas. Who are the influencers can do it? And I believe that there's going to be more of a shift to an influencer brand marketing facilitation of people who have trust in those industries already. And people are going to flock to them and say, oh, they think this is good. Wonderful. So I think the partnerships, traditional advertising versus influencer with the right data that's coming from this are going to shift because we're going to be immediately to target this influencer, that one, to bring people into our category. And it's way more specific when people have those niches. So is there opportunity for solopreneurs or creators? In a huge way, but you got to carve your niche out very specifically, I think. Now, with that being said, there's amazing companies that are innovating in these brand spaces and doing things right now that can bring alive a brand through influence really, really quickly, whether that's a retail brand or a B2B brand, they're all there. And people aren't really thinking. They're thinking, oh, how much am I spending on Google, or how much am I spending on Facebook, or how much am I spending on LinkedIn? When they should be thinking, how many influencers are advertising for me? And what's my cost per acquisition off those influencers? Because they have the direct ear of the market. Right? Like when we say big names, I wonder what it costs to advertise on Valuetainment with Patrick Bet-David and these other big people. It's absolutely probably pretty wild.
Thanks for watching, and keep removing those revenue roadblocks. If you want more videos like this, follow our channel for fresh, new content every day. Check out our RevOps playlist, or how about this video chosen just for you? See you next time.